terrifying, and I don't know where I am, but I know there's a few out there who will also understand. Who am I and where do I fit in? This labyrinth is winding, so where do you begin? So many choices and paths that I can take, but there's no need to overcomplicate. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. These magic words will point you on your way. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. It's nice to meet you, please enjoy your stay. It gets slightly less scary when you start to understand. Adventures round every bend and you're surrounded by new friends. And all of a sudden, there's no need for anyone to hold your hand. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. These magic words will point you on your way. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. It's nice to meet you, please enjoy your stay. At the end of the weekend when the summit comes to close, stay vigilant on your journey home. Remember all the lessons you have learned, all the fires that we've burned. Be courageous, filled with pride, ambitious, prosperous and wise. Stay loyal to your friends until the very end. Stitch your wounds and heal your heart. Create and enjoy your art. Fight your battles and stay strong. If you're brave, sing a song. Make some magic every day. Use your voice and have your say to shape the world around you. Have faith, Anvil has found you. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. These magic words will point you on your way. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. It's nice to meet you, please enjoy your stay. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. These magic words will point you on your way. Just say, hi, I'm new to Anvil. It's nice to meet you, please enjoy your stay. This is fucking terrifying, and I don't know where I am, but I know there's a few out there who will also understand. Who am I and where do I fit in? This labyrinth is winding, so where do you begin? So many choices and paths that I can take, but there's no need to overcomplicate. Just say, hi.
There we go. The party is started. Hello, hello everyone.
Oh, it's weird seeing myself on that screen too. Hold on a second, I gotta pop out this chat. Sorry, hello.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the chat where I can't tell the time. Or Google was wrong. We don't know which yet.
Google was wrong.
Google was wrong.
We'll blame Google.
We'll blame Bill Gates.
We'll blame the massive tech fallout that's been happening today.
Yeah, there has been a lot of it. So, I mean, I'm looking at my bitrate at the moment for the internet, and it is low. Very, very low. So, the internet has been awful all day. So, for those who... Because this has been a long time coming. So, for those who have been around my channel for years now, one of the very, very early on, we did... Because everybody knows I am a fan of LARPs, the series. I watch it a lot. It's one of those things that I keep on going. It's like reading Lord of the Rings. I'll go back and watch it every year. So we did. I was lucky enough to obviously have John, Liz, and Scott come on and chat away and do, well, just chat. It was really, really nice. Scott brought all of his chaos, and it was wonderful. Sarcastic twat reporting for duty. You are more than welcome, Maury. So, and you were in chat watching, and I think it was the Scott one where you said, and I said, "Oh, I would love to chat," and you said, "Yes, let's do that." So, but for me, ADHD brain took over, and obviously it's now been years in the making. It's
And I've been thinking about it ever since.
I know.
I've been dreaming about it. Nightmares. Why aren't you calling me?
It's the photo messages. That's what I don't need in my life. I can never unsee those, I'm afraid, my friend. So, but no, we are finally here. This has been. I am very excited about this. I don't get nervous. I am just very excited because.
Me too. I'm stoked.
You've already dropped one story on it that I didn't know happened. So for those in chat, I've just been informed Momo O'Brien was actually in the series. So I've just found the still of it. So for those who have seen it, then it's well, yeah, season 2, and go into and she's in the cafe. Big red.
Yeah,
hair.
and we had another background actor that day, who was a lovely guy whose name I forget now because it's been a decade, but another web series creator that we had met at one of the first festivals we ever went to, and because there weren't tons of web series out in fantasy and sci-fi, like we kept bumping into each other at different festivals, and then one day we were just like, "Hey man, we're shooting season 2. Do you want to come be a background actor?" It's just like we weren't paying. We gave them like $50 or something, but this guy came from the US just to sit in the cafe for a couple of scenes.
See, that's really cool. That's really good. I mean, the thing that got me was, I mean, obviously, we're not going to talk about LARP as LARP itself, as a hobby in a game and things like that, because you're not a LARPer. You are producer, director, editor, king, did absolutely everything. You were General Dog's body. You did literally everything on the show. You were, as we've... lovely to see you, nerdy filmmaker.
What's up, Shazzy? And hi, Phil, and hi, Memento, and anyone else in the chat.
So it's yeah, because something that actually occurred to me the other day when I was thinking, oh shit, he's coming on. Did he ever make a cameo? And then I went back, and as I was watching it through, I was just like, God, you're fucking Jeff.
Did you not know that?
It just occurred. It literally just occurred. It's like when you can't see the forest for the trees. But yeah,
well,
you were Jeff.
I was Jeff.
You were Jeff. And that was really good. And you actually do something that I do in real life as well, that you do in the second series, where you're tapping on the window when Liz is just in the thing, and you just keep on knocking even when it's coming down and it's gone.
It's missing. It's like, look, do you want me to get into stories right away, or
go for it.
It's just like, sorry, because I haven't, just for everyone in the chat, I haven't even, it's been a long time since I've talked at all about or watched or done anything to do with this show, so I'm kind of feeling this like nostalgiaville right now, and I would love to tell a bunch of stories if anyone cares. But essentially, so like, I did LARPs. Oh, I got that too. Okay, I'll get to that in a bit. But the season 1, I didn't, like, I had to act it. I couldn't direct it. I also gave myself like the hardest scene in the whole show, which is that it was a 7-minute one-shot with me and Liz. Like, this is not a good idea. And we didn't really find, like, I didn't really like my performance in season 1, and I think it's because, like, I couldn't find any kind of charm in this character. He was just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Whereas in season 2, I was like, wait, he can be a lovable dick if he's just, like, a bit ignorant and silly. So, but yeah, season 2, I remember Liz and I did our first take together, and then we looked up, and we're like, so, how was it? And, like, everyone kind of just looked at each other and went, like, oh, Jesus, I guess we're directing ourselves. So Liz and I just had a lot of fun, just constantly like one-upping each other in that scene. So
Yeah.
acting with Liz is like the bomb.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, she was. I remember when I first watched it, and when she first comes in, and the first thing she does is pay off John, and she's gonna set fire to the tavern and all of this, and it's just like, okay, so this is the character that everybody wanted to come in then.
Well, so that's the funny. It's funny you should say that because that leads into this question over here from Phil. Is
So
that
that's actually Helen? That's my wife.
Oh, hi Helen. So the original concept was based on I had been dating a girl when I was 18, and then it did not work out. And then, like maybe a year later, in reflecting on the whole situation, it was entirely my fault. I ruined that relationship, but I really liked. She had asked me out when I was working at a cafe, and she was this girl with spunky blue hair and like go-go boots and all this stuff. And it was like she loved Buffy and she loved whatever. It was like she was my dream girl, and she was so fun and sassy and exciting when we were together and alone. But anytime there was other people around, any of my friends or my family, she would completely shut down. And I didn't know as a young guy how to deal with that, and I put it on her rather than helping her feel comfortable. You know, I was just like, why can't you interact with my friends? What's wrong with you? And like, obviously, that's a shitty thing to do. But essentially, in reflecting on that, I was like, she felt safe with me alone to be who she was, and everything else because there was that pressure. And then I had also heard about LARPing, and I was like, what if there was someone who felt comfortable to explore themselves in this, or a different version of themselves in this other life, and someone's attracted to that? And so the show was based off of the relationship between Will and Brittany, based on my relationship that I'd had with this girl.
Right.
And Arthur and Evan are based on my two brothers.
Yeah, because they're great.
They're great. They're wonderful. And they've obviously evolved because I wrote the original scripts, and the original scripts are hot garbage. But those characters are essentially the same. And then eventually, after like 6-7 years of not doing anything with it, I had met with John and asked him, can you write this show for me? Because you're a LARPer, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're a writer, I'm barely a writer. You're going to write this much more authentically. I'm going to alienate my own target audience by accident, you know? It was a funny script, but it was not like, if you reread it now, you're all going to be offended. It's not accurate at all. And it was unintentional, and it was counterproductive. And he was the one that introduced Shane. So that's the character he created and brought into the show with Shane, because he said we need an avatar.
Yeah, you do.
Coming into the show.
And
so
it works so well. It really did. But I think the connection between the brothers was wonderful. Because I'd had a few chats with John Silver through Twitter. And he'd actually turned around to me and said, he goes, I would love to come on and talk about the show. And then obviously he got some roles, and he's now a big star and all of this sort of stuff, and
yes, he is.
Everything. So he's doing really well for himself. Hey, Virik, welcome, mate. Good. Any questions? Feel free. I'll ask everything. It's anything goes, basically. So I do love that dynamic between it all. But the good thing, I think, the thing that you can take out from all the writing and where everything works is I can pinpoint the trope characters from everyone in the show, and you can pinpoint them all. So like when I first started LARPing, I was Biff. I was more interested in, we call them pod shots over here.
You were Chaos.
I still am, but it's more of a case of I'm very much like, hello, I'm gonna shoot you in the dick. and things like that. So that was really good. And then you get the John Verrill type, who's very much a rules lawyer, likes to be in charge and stuff like that. And it's like when we were watching it, Helen, when he had the cake to celebrate 3 years of the game and stuff like that, and she was just like, "Oh, that's so sad." All of that.
My brother hated that. So
Really?
the brother who Evan was originally based on hated that moment. He loves the show. He hated that moment because to him, and like he's empathetic, but he's not very emotional. But the one emotion he cannot deal with is disappointment.
Right. Okay.
And so when he saw that, instead of him laughing at it, he was just like, I cannot deal with this moment. It's like too sad. But anyway,
I can see that.
And Helen, how far along into the series are you now?
I think we're. Oh, I'll have to have a look because it's on. I think we're like episode 7, OOC. Oh yeah, we're coming up to your episode. We haven't watched it yet.
Oh, have fun with that.
It's a good episode.
Season 1, episode 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a good one.
Glad we're having this talk now and not after you've seen it, because then you probably won't want to talk to me anymore.
I've seen it all and I love it. So, what's the best memory that you have from it all? Don't say it's the friends we made along the way.
No, yuck.
That's fine then.
Ugh. I don't like any of them anymore. No, I mean, there's definitely some like on-set moments. There's a couple of moments that I won't mention because I don't want to ruin anything for you. But there's a moment in the last episode of the show that came out basically exactly how I envisioned it, and it's a very like tough moment, and I remember when I was watching it, or that the performers acting it for the first time, I had to wait to call cut because I was a mess. I was crying and I couldn't say anything, and I didn't want anyone to look at me. I had a little tint.
Yeah.
But so there was a moment there that was like very rewarding when something comes out exactly the way that you pictured it, and you know that it's gonna work. As well as, by the way, the credit scene of the last episode. Let's just say that. But I think as a whole, the experience of making LARPs, the first season in a way meant more because Season 1 was really just us having fun and playing, and there was a lot less stakes involved. Season 2, we had to meet deadlines. I went into debt because I was editing the whole thing, and so I was working full-time on that. I couldn't take contracts. We had to cut the budget because we didn't raise enough money, so guess where that came from. And I was basically eating for free at the Sanka set table at, which is the did you say Sanka set there? I guess not, eh? The happy hour, that's the word. Happy hour table at a bar. You get a drink and you can eat all these nachos and cold pizzas. That's how I was eating when I was editing Season 2. So, and that's just the nature when you, like, all of a sudden we're working with Geek and Sundry and we had more money, but that means more stress and blah, blah, blah. But Season 1 was just a bunch of friends having fun figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
And so the stress wasn't there. It was more wonder and excitement and play. And I am more proud of the product of Season 2 just because we were able to achieve all these great things in Season 2. But ultimately, the stress was a lot higher. But on both seasons, the thing that I remember the most, come back to the question, is that we would, when we were shooting up north, we were shooting on the forest scenes, right? We would shoot all day, and then at night, we'd go back to wherever we were staying, everyone, and we would drink, and we'd play board games. Sometimes we'd have a fire, and we'd party into the night. I mean, not party. We didn't get hammered because we needed to. And that was it. It was just like, Season 2 we shot like 11 days outside or something like that. So it was 11 days of just like work during the day, have fun, laugh, and then at night eat s'mores, play werewolf, and
Yeah.
and watch our props person walking around with a bottle of Sailor Jerry, just like pretty good.
That's cool. That's really
that was
cool.
the most fun. That was most memorable. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Maury's asked, after everything that you've learned and created, what type of character would you ever play if you did go LARPing? Because didn't you all go up to, you all went to Bickerleen, didn't a load of you went to Bickerleen?
No, a couple of people went to Underworld,
Underworld, that was it. Yeah.
and I didn't go to that. I think so. I do play D&D,
Hmm.
and what I do like playing in D&D are very meek characters. I don't like being loud and chaotic. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I'm self-conscious about doing something wrong, and so if I'm meeker, then it's like, But I love supporting other people's stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And but I also recognize that I know game mechanics. Like this is D&D more so than LARP. I know game mechanics better than like a lot of kind of like newer players and stuff. So I usually am like pretty combat heavy, which counteracts the kind of like like happy. So I just like meek human, which is weird, like the most like vanilla characters,
Yeah.
but like with a kind of complex background that makes them just kind of quirky and nice and shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what you enjoy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Nothing else
Yeah.
for it. It's as long as you're enjoying it, that's all that matters.
I am not good at chaos. I can't do that.
Oh, you see, I'm great at it. I
bet you are.
I'm known for. That's what I'm known for. So, but because I had a load of questions in mind. I wrote a load of questions down for this, but I thought I'd like it to be quite free form and things like that. And I have to admit, there was one question that I really wanted to ask when it came through it all. How, when you were directing it and when you were doing everything, how did you find telling? Because obviously Scott and Liz were together, and obviously Biff is off with someone else. I know they're actors and all of this, and they're trained to do it, but you're all friends as well. It must have been awkward to turn around to Scott and say, right, Liz, you need to turn around now because Scott's about to go and play tonsil tennis with someone.
So, there's actually, I don't know if I think they're online, but there's are they? We made a behind the scenes for every episode featurette, and there was one of them. They're like 2 to 3 minutes long, and there's one dedicated to this. But I'll just explain it. It might be on the old LARPs YouTube page before Geek and Sundry picked it up.
Googling it. Oh yeah, there is a How They Made LARPs season 2.
So that's no, we did one for season 1. We did a bunch of episodes for season 1, but here it comes. So this apartment, by the by, you might recognize that door. This is in that kitchen and this couch. This is in season 1, the montage where Will is eating the cereal and
half asleep still, just
half asleep in the shower
as
well. Oh my god, those are my weights. Look at my weights, everyone.
Where John's just complaining about the relationship and
exactly
everything, and it was that had me in stitches. The constant shh.
Yeah.
It's not even looking, just shh. so good.
So that was here. Why was I getting into this? What was I saying?
Talking about the kissing.
Yeah, right. So we also held rehearsals here, right? So we were rehearsing here, and we were eventually like, okay, it's time to get this out of the way. So Scott and Charlotte went into the other room, into the kitchen, and we left them alone so they could just like figure it out on the two because they just needed to get over that kind of hump.
Mm.
Nowadays, there would be an intimacy coordinator. By the way, this is a role like
Really?
we wouldn't do it this way anymore. Hey, go make out in the other room and get out of the way. That's not how we do it anymore. We're a little bit more sensitive, but also like we're all like we are. Go kiss each other, get back in here, get it over with.
Mm.
But apparently, when they were going in, and they were kind of like trying to figure it out, and like they just went ahead and did it. When they stopped, they looked at the kitchen door, and Liz was in there peeking in like this. It just went, so? Like, Liz was more excited than anyone
Really?
for them to kiss.
Fucking hell. I can't... Yeah, I don't know if I could get my head around that. I mean, I've only done... I mean, my acting career is very, very short. I did a trailer for Grand Theft Horse, the medieval version of Grand Theft Auto.
Theft Horse, excuse you.
And I play I'm a corpse collector. I collect the dead. So I've got this massive wagon thing wheeling around.
Is that this is Rustler?
Rustler, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
it. Yeah, it's truly terrible.
I'm gonna watch this later.
But yeah, that's my entire acting thing on it, and
that's it. You weren't bit by the bug?
Oh, I did. I had a great time. I really enjoyed it, and I've been asked to go off and do other things and that, but it's never. It's difficult to do. I can see why other people like stay single when they do it, or I mean, I'm happily married and I don't want that to change. So it's
like obviously, especially for people who are not actors or at least not in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Like, I can see how it's intimidating to have your partner going off and making out with another actor, but we know it's part of the job, and not necessarily as in like, well, I guess it's part of the job, we have to do it, but we also know it's like there's not really anything connected to it. You know what I mean? There is no romance to it, or whatever. And if you see anything in there, chances are it's just a performance of romance, an imitation of romance. And so no, we don't. We generally don't get too jealous with that.
No. So Maury said his brother-in-law was a one-legged wheelbarrow seller in Beowulf. So that's impressive. That's a claim to fame.
Hot.
Right there. So, but it's because I watch a lot of the Lord of the Rings, like the extended scenes and all the extra discs and stuff like that, and because I know Sean Astin's wife hated the fact that he had to kiss Rosie Cotton at the end. And they had to turn around and say to her, yeah, just one take, that's all it took. But they were there for like half a day just to get the kiss right and things like that. So,
well, I know that during, I was living with a partner, and she booked, this was during lockdown, but she had booked a role on a docudrama show, right, where they reenact actual crimes and stuff.
Okay.
And she had a bunch of kissing scenes with her husband in the thing. And to me, it's like that wasn't the part that upset me. I was totally fine with that. The part that upset me was that apparently he was eating peanut butter, and she thought she was allergic to peanut butter.
Oh.
And I'm like, what a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking motherfucking asshole.
Yeah,
and then and then subsequently, and like this is a weird thing that like especially women need to face or face within this industry. It's a docudrama. Who watches a docudrama, like whatever? And even still, she was getting tons of random messages and texts from people who she didn't know who these numbers were, just being like, hi there, saw you and whatever, I think you were great. Like, how did you get my number? That upset me. Watching her kiss someone I was like, please.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is. I don't even get that doing this. I get abuse. That's all I get. So
Besides, I know these lips are passable. You know what I mean?
Excellent. There you go. Put that on your CV.
Tinder profile. Lips.
Passable.
Mediocre, but passable.
Yeah. Yeah. People haven't gone running.
No. Weird.
That's good. Well done. That's impressive. So it came to. So this is how it all came about then. So what was the story? Oh, YetiCon. What was YetiCon?
Okay. This is a real tangent story. It has nothing to do with the actual.
No, but I've only just remembered it. So obviously,
okay, so
everyone watching, obviously Hefty Yeti and stuff like that. I did not know there was a YetiCon. Everyone in chat, no clue.
If there are any cosplayers in the chat right now who like conventions and going to Comic Cons and stuff, YetiCon I don't know if you live anywhere near Blue Mountain, Ontario. So it's in Ontario. And it's like a ski town that becomes like a summer town, like a little resort summer town.
Okay.
And YetiCon is a convention for cosplayers by cosplayers. It is not a Comic-Con, which means that the cosplay is the forefront. It is significantly less commercialized, so even the vendors have to pay less to get a table, and therefore it costs participants less, you know? So it's wonderful. It is just photo shoots in this beautiful landscape and parties and raves and pool parties and panels and whatever.
Yeah.
And I used to go every year as Little Mac from Punch-Out. You know Nintendo Punch-Out? Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Yep, I know that, yeah.
And one year, I went up to a LARP booth. And I was... I started chatting with the person behind the counter, behind the table, because I recognized her. I knew who she was. Clearly, she did not remember me. But that's fine. I didn't say anything. I kind of just started chit-chatting, and then she mentioned the show LARPs. And I went, oh, wow. You seen that show? She said, seen it. I worked on it. And I thought to myself, no, you didn't.
Right.
I went, cool. What did you do on the show? And she said, I did the makeup. I went, whoa. Now, the reason I recognized this person is because we had talked about her doing the makeup on the show. But it didn't work out, and we ended up getting someone else.
Right.
I'm like, cool. Anyway, and I went home after a bit more of a talk, and it was like that night, I was just like, look, I don't really care. But still, I was just like, we're Facebook friends. That's the other thing. I didn't know how this person didn't know that. I don't think we still are. But then I messaged her. I was just like, hey there. Nice chatting with you today. Just to be clear, it's okay, but you didn't work on LARPs. Your name's not in the credits. I would know. And never answered. Left me on red.
Jesus.
I was very polite about it, but it's like someone else did do the makeup, and they worked really hard. Don't take the credit of another artist.
No.
No,
definitely not. That's Jesus. I didn't think that's what it was going to be, but you don't take credit for something else, something that other people have done.
Yeah.
It's that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So I want to know what her name is now, just to go, oh dear, what a naughty person you are, but don't tell me.
Never.
No.
Because who knows why she was doing that? Maybe she just needed some credits to get a job or whatever. And I don't really care. It's okay. As long as she's not literally actively stealing my content, then I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, how often apart from me, obviously, but do other people bring up the LARPs the series to you at all, or? Because I mean, it has a large following still.
Yeah, when it first came out, It was a lot more popular, and everyone in the city was really, really excited because it was the first time that Montreal actors. Because remember, I'm also an actor. Like I'm first and foremost actually an actor. Like the majority of my income comes from acting. And I want to be a director. Like that is my main, in a way, my main goal. I will act in anything because it's play for me, but I lose sleep over directing. Like that's my creative outlet.
Yeah.
But so when it came out, it was like the first thing coming out of the city that actors had made that actually was getting attention and success, and like our news outlets were behind it and blah blah blah. And so like it was like this rising success story kind of thing in the city, which was obviously very, very exciting. And it's grown, like it was fun to meet people around the world who, even one just who recognized us, and that was really, really fun. We met some people at a taco restaurant in Peoria, Illinois, who came up to us at a table. Like we weren't there we were visiting some friends, and they came out, they're like, "Oh my God, are you?" Like that's kind of cool. Like you're in some random place at a taco restaurant. But what was also great was to see how much of an impact it had on individuals. Where I remember there was one convention, Montreal Comic Con, when we were announcing season 2, and someone had stood up in the audience at the panel and basically told us that the show saved their life.
Oh wow.
That seeing themselves reflected in there took away the shame that they've faced all their life from all the bullying and all the whatever. And clearly this person was already struggling and therefore was susceptible to external negativity and whatever. And but like this kind of created a little community for them, and other people made watch parties at their schools and whatever. It's just like all of this just because we were a bunch of nerds having fun. So I guess it's like, it was cool to see how popular it got, but it's like, I think there's a lot of responsibility with representing a subculture. Make sure you get it right and to treat it respectfully. Otherwise, you're just feeding into negativity.
Like Grown Ups and those sorts of films. They
exactly.
More harm than good.
Yeah,
that's
definite. I think the hard part to now to like contextualize that in nowadays, it is still like I've made several short films. We've made a few pilots that never got picked up and whatever. It is hard, admittedly. This is something I don't talk about a lot. But it is hard to live in the what feels like you're living in the shadow of your first project. The first thing I ever made remains to be the most popular and successful thing I've ever made. I don't think it's the best thing I've made critically. You know what I mean? Like, but socially, it's definitely the thing that's had the biggest impact. And so that one, that is its own set of measurements.
Yeah.
But, as an artist, you hope that you grow and therefore with it, kind of like your voice and your technique and your craft. But you're still known for the first thing that you made. It's kind of a weird thing to have to feel like you even need to escape. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't have to escape the shadow of my own project. I should be and I am thrilled that it is what it is, but at the same time, it's like me as an artist, I'm trying to create something else that I will get recognized or not from a vanity standpoint, but like from a recognized artistically for something,
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes down to, it's like Maury has said, I'd say that makes everything you have done worth it. For saving that guy. I completely agree with you. Yeah. I will say, as a side, I loved The Forest as well.
Oh, thanks, man.
I really like that as well. It was good. I put that on thinking, this will be fun.
It was not.
It's not fun. It's a very serious film. A very, very serious short film. But it's really good. It is very, very good. So I'm not just going to say this because you're here, because everyone on chat knows I don't give out compliments very easily or anything like that, but you are very talented at what you do, and that is clear, because I think you've got the passion for it, and you care about what you put out there. And I will also say, I mean, keep this away from my wife's ears, but you introduced Amber Goldfarb into my life.
Okay, let me tell you about audition process.
Yeah, go for it.
Can I tell you about auditions? So season 2 auditions, because we started running the auditions and we sent out the emails, casting calls, but what am I not hearing?
I know, right?
The show ends at season 1. There is no season 2, Helen.
No.
Don't worry. Casting for season 2. We held casting for season 2, and we were all excited because I don't actually remember if we had announced. No, we had not announced Geek and Sundry yet because it wasn't actually finalized. We announced it only after we cast people. Did we tell them in their cast emails? They're like, by the way, and Geek and Sundry was hot shit back then, you know.
Yeah.
So, but we had, there were some roles that were much harder to cast than others.
Yeah.
Mark Camacho, who plays Lance from the cafe. He's the only person whose role was created and given to him.
Yes.
He doesn't have to audition. It's Mark Camacho.
Yeah, exactly.
He is Montreal royalty.
Yes.
So that's first. Then there were other people. Sean Baichu, who played Harold. You know, I'm trying to talk without giving away too much to Helen, but like in the other group, he was wonderful. We knew right away he's it. Mara Lazarus, who plays Claudia in the other group, she was the biggest surprise. She was the most different from anyone else who auditioned, and she is the first example of me that I've ever experienced of someone coming in with such a different interpretation of the character that it changed my mind about what the character should be. She's the loveliest person, and then when she just started acting, like her eyes went dead, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so crazy, and she's great. She's amazing.
Just say
Amber Goldfarb.
For chat, that's Mark Camacho. So for those who don't know who that is, I've just put his link to his IMDb.
He's the bee's knees,
and
man.
You will look at him and go, holy shit, he has been in that. Oh my god, he's been in everything.
He played Richard. His biggest thing is probably Richard Nixon in the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the makeup team framed his prosthetic nose, and gave it to him.
Really?
His whole family are actors.
That's awesome.
And they all have Harry Potter matching Mischief Managed Harry Potter tattoo. Whole family. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
But Amber Goldfarb missed her audition date. She didn't show up. And we had already decided on someone. And she was just like, hey, I would still love to audition. I could come in, whatever, if you're still willing to see me. And I was like, I guess it was probably getting to my head, the whole thing with season 1 and whatever. I was like, and Liz was like, Julian, do you know who Amber Goldfarb is? Well, no. Did you know who I am? She's like, shut up. You know, like, shut your mouth. You should see Amber Goldfarb, because she was already doing video games back then.
Yeah.
And so Amber came in and did the audition here with B and Liz, and she left, and I was just like, yeah, well, there we go. That's it. We had such a hard time choosing between 3 other actors that as soon as Amber came in, I was like, great. Throughout all of those, she's the one. She was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's great. She was supposed to have a tail. Did you know that? She was supposed to have a tail.
No, I didn't know that.
But the prop maker waited too. But to throw someone on the bus. The prop person got the priorities mixed. And so on the day of the first day of shooting, he brought the tail, and I was like, we're not putting that on. She no longer has a tail.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the differences between between the 2 seasons, that you can tell there's a bit more of a budget between in the second season. So but you do. I mean, the end of the second season. I mean, because one of the things, it's a sad thing to talk about, but I do want to talk about it at some point. But the end of the second season, it's a really good ending, and I loved the journey that John Silver went on with from the beginning with Noctis, and then losing him, and then all of his characters that he went through, and then right at the end of season 2, when it was a new game, a new genre, and it's essentially like cyberpunk, wasn't it really? Or Shadowrun for the tabletop nerds. And yeah, it was just such a wonderful end. And I remember that when I first watched it all thinking, I can't wait for season 3.
So when season 1 came out, before it was released, we had a watch party for the first 4 episodes, just for Montrealers. No one knew what they were coming to, and we had a watch party, and it was a lot of fun. For season 2, we didn't have a watch party for the launch. We had a watch party for the finale. We got Geek and Sundry's permission to show to a private screening the last 3 episodes of the show before it was released. So episode 8, 9, and 10. And 10's a double-length episode.
Yeah.
And was it 8, 9, and 10? It might have just been 9 and 10. And we sold out the space. It was about 200-something people. And I had just finished the episode that morning.
Right.
That's how tight this stuff was that, and I got up and I told the audience that no one has seen this episode in its completion, except for really just me and the sound mixer. But no one else had really seen it, and so everyone's going to be experiencing for the first time together. And we watched it, and I had a lot of anxiety watching it, because I was just like, did I rewatch the export? Did I check that everything was connected? Did I mess something up? That's going to be so embarrassing if there's something, you know. And I stood there next to Beatrice, the producer, and who's my best friend, and we watched the whole thing. And there are moments that we hoped would hit. And there was, you know, the moment that I was talking about as being one of my favorite moments on filming, you could hear a pin drop.
Mm-hmm.
And then another part where, you know, the let them burn moment had the audience was erupting, cheering. There's a couple of fight scenes in that episode. Everyone was loving it. And then we got to that moment, that cyberpunk moment you're talking about, and the audience erupted and cheered through the credits to the point where they missed the post-credits joke because they just cheered right through. And that is one of those memorable moments of my life. It will be one of the most memorable moments of my life, because I was standing there with my best friend and my business partner, who is like, you know, we've been doing this together now for a long time, and seeing the reaction. I get really choked up anytime I talk about this stuff. But it was a very important moment, and it was a very, very rewarding moment. Films don't often, like, filmmakers don't get that same kind of immediate feedback that like a theater performer or a musician or whatever might get, you know. And so that was a really, really important moment. I do wish we had made a season 3, or I should say we had the means to make a season 3.
Yeah.
We, you know, our relationship with Geek and Sundry changed somewhat in that they were no longer able to actually give any financing. A lot of deals had fallen through over the past 5 years. We were close a number of times. Our partnership with the Fantasy Network fell through because their company went down under something like that. I don't quite understand. You know, it was a bit of a series of bad luck issues.
Yeah.
And then a pandemic and whatever. But I will say, like, one, I am very happy with how season 2 ended, that it can be an ending. You know? And
yeah. You're not going to get the Firefly effect, are you?
No.
No.
Unfortunately. And then 2 is we did have, I will say, we had a season 3 developed. We had the story for season 3. it was made. Like it was not written. We didn't write the script, but John and I sat down and had multiple conversations about what season 3 would be, and we had story planned out. And it was Cyberpunk. I won't get into specifics, but I will say that the main difference was that there was going to be PvP.
Ah, okay, that's interesting. Because there was always, you always got the idea that that was there, or it could have been there, but it was avoided. I mean, you had PV Biff, basically, didn't you, a lot of the time? And I have to admit, one of my favourite gifts that I ever had on my channel was anytime anyone followed or anything like that. That was actually
The arrow?
Yeah, it was actually the arrow, just shooting.
The season 1 or season 2 arrow?
Shooting John Verrill in the
Good.
in the nuts. So because it was just a much better shot because that was on the road, wasn't it? Rather than just close quarters.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful. So there are so many memorable moments within both series, and it's added. It's definitely added to things that I've watched, and I always bring it up with people, and I always say I send it off to people to go and watch and things like that, because it's like what you were saying about that lad who said it saved his life. I think it has connotations within LARP even now. I think a lot of people can look at it and watch and think they feel this way and things like that, and I think it does affect it all, because one of the big things that we talk about, it's so lovely to hear that it had such a profound impact on you, as much as for some who watched it.
Yeah,
it is genuinely lovely, man. It is so nice. I mean, and the fact that it's someone who, like yourself, who isn't a LARPer, but you've got people around you who do it, and you put your talent. What's the black and white episode? Can't remember what it's called. You had moments in there. It was like you were taken
the
from
one where they're replaying the same moment.
Yeah, very much like what was the French film, La Haine?
Yeah. What the hell was the episode called? But even we made that episode specifically because we realized when we did season 1, we didn't have an episode that was made for festivals. So that's why we made that episode, was as a festival. That episode is specifically designed to be a festival submission episode.
Yeah, Retcon it was called.
Was that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 2, episode 4.
Yeah.
And that, so it's like,
That was a good one.
it was a very good one.
And that's an example of like when we made that. Sorry, you were gonna say something. I
No,
interrupted you.
go for it.
That black and white moment was not scripted that way.
No?
It was pouring rain. We had just finished one of the other versions, and we were gonna go do Biff's version, which was, it was gonna be shot very differently. And it started pouring rain, and we had to get inside, and we found a gymnasium that was missing its wall, or that its wall was open, and there was a truck and a tire and all this random tools and stuff, and it's just like, we're rewriting, like we're shooting. So all of that, obviously the guns were planned because we needed to have prop guns, but almost everything else other than the pistols and the dialogue was rewritten on the spot.
Okay.
While Joe, that was the cinematographer, was setting up the shots, I was talking with Kathy, the makeup artist. I was talking with the costume guy. I was just like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it urban. We're gonna get rid of all the costume pieces except for one thing, for each of them. We're gonna make the makeup look reminiscent of like gang makeup, but like as a LARP, and so all that was decided on the spot, which doesn't happen very often.
No.
But sometimes panic can cause great creativity. Can lead to great creative moments.
It was really good. It was a really good moment. I find that the second season you touch on a lot more. I suppose of the deeper, more profound moments within LARP as a hobby. So one of the big things I talk about is LARP. Is within LARP is bleed, where it's something that your character does or things that happen and they will affect you in the real world. It affects your mood or your state of mind, your mental health, and things like that. And you do touch on that, especially John. So he's very, very good at moping, I found, in the nicest possible way. But when obviously Noctis was killed off, and then he kept on getting himself killed and stuff like that, and you can see it. He's just absolutely miserable, and he keeps on playing through it all, and he keeps on talking about stuff, and it's. I reckon everyone in chat, I recommend everybody watch it if you haven't already seen it, because if you've ever lost a character in a tabletop game or in a LARP, you will feel something when you see what he goes through.
What's the do you play as well, or do you mainly just GM?
Me, I play. Well,
So,
tabletop I do both.
Oh, what's the longest standing character that you've lost?
Probably my LARP character, 9 years.
Damn. That's I can imagine that being an extremely personal.
It broke me, yeah, because it wasn't even killed in the game properly. It was a safety call by a ref, and then another ref came over and said, everyone who stood here, you're all dead. I wasn't even given a chance to fight out or do anything. I was literally killed by a ref call. So I came back to our camp, and we were all sat around, and my best friend came down when he heard, and I was saying to everybody, I'm alright, I'm alright. And he came down and he walked over to me and he just said, are you alright? And I literally broke down. I was crying my eyes out. And then Helen, my wife, she was like, do you want to go home? I was just like, yeah. And we left.
It's amazing how powerful imagination is. And how I think it's a great thing that we can instill such importance in things that are not physically tangibly real but are just ideas.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of that in this world. I think it'd be a more empathetic world. 100%. If we can actually impart such importance and empathy and whatever to never mind even like fictional characters or whatever, just to other people's that's such a powerful trait. So
definitely, and I think you are in a very lucky position where you get to make people feel things. It's something that you have been able to do, and it's a lovely thing. You have a talent, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I like to make people feel happy and curious and whatever through film, or disgust through Tinder. I'm just there to make people feel.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
So if looking back at all two series, if there was one thing or a few things that you could redo, what would it be?
Recast Charlotte. Ugh.
Really?
Fucking terrible. No, I'm joking. Charlotte is incredible. Don't ever play any kind of bluffing game against Charlotte Rogers. You will lose.
I'll bear that in mind.
What would I change about the show? Or about the experience of it, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could have two answers, because there's like the creatively or the production of it. You know what I mean? Creatively, oh my god, I don't know if there's much that I mean, because it was a product of where I was. We always, this is the thing, and I mean, I'm sure this is the same as any artist. You look back at your old work and you see all the problems.
Oh, good.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I look back at like again, I don't mean to throw. It's not even about the individual's work. It's about what I was also fine with as a director. So in the end, the creativity, all the buck stops with me, right? The music in season 1, I can't. The music in season 1, I listen to it and I'm just like, ugh. And you know, I'm sure there's individual moments that were that I would change in season 2 or season 1, but I truly still feel that the season finale, the series finale, is one of the best things I've ever made, along with The Forest and my latest short film, which is in festival, or hopefully in festivals soon. Production wise, you know, my biggest regret is that so the show has, you know, however many awards and a bunch of nominations, and it's not on Amazon anymore, but it was on Amazon for a while, and online it must have 7-8+ million views cumulatively. When Geek and Sundry passed on the 3rd season to finance the 3rd season because they were changing their model, we looked back at Beanduck's YouTube channel and we had 50 subscribers.
Right.
My biggest professional mistake in my career, in my life, but I wouldn't have necessarily known it back then, right? I was so focused on the show, I was not focusing on what the show could mean to us as a company. And so it's more of a business thing that I learned, is that no matter what you're doing, you have to bring it back to the long term. Because since then, like, LARPs is a great calling card for when we go and speak to people. Like, it gets us in the door. But for any kind of social or critical success, we basically had to start from square one again. After that whole journey, we had to rebuild, you know? And so I don't even know what our channel is at this point, but like, if we can't even necessarily try to pursue something like that now, because we just don't have the reach on our socials. Because we never did anything to relate the show back to us. We should have been creating additional content and saying, go see it on the Beanduck YouTube channel or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But we didn't do that. So a lot of it was starting from square one at that point. So that was a big regret of ours.
I can imagine.
And probably not the kind of answer you were looking for.
No. I mean, it's an honest answer at the end, isn't it? That's all we can ask for.
And then, and I'll leave that there. And then I'm sure there's other little things that I would regret. So they're not coming to the top of my mind.
That's fine. I mean, so Helen's asked, has there been anything that you've taken forward into your work after?
I think I know that a lot of people talk about when they make stuff about not thinking about the audience, and it's about making work for you and not, like, you know what I mean? Like, they say, like, oh, just focus on what you love and this and that. But I think it's really important to think about what the audience wants. Yeah. And, you know, or at the very least, recognize what the audience might not want. You know, and the audience, the audience that I ended up finding with LARPs would not have wanted what I originally wrote.
I'm very curious about this. Do you still have a copy of that script?
Yeah, I do. There's only one scene that survived from my original script and made it into the show. It was rewritten, obviously, because things had to change. But it was the opening of episode 3 when they're all in the car and they're talking about stuff and they don't realize that there's people in the back seat. That's the only thing that survived from my original scripts.
Right. Yeah, I love that scene. That's really, really good. Yeah, the look of pure disappointment on Charlotte's face.
He goes, oh.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's really, really good, because I've been in that car. You're having a conversation. What? It's like,
I'm fucking back here. Shut up.
Yeah, that's literally it. That's so good. That's so good.
But I do also think that, I will also say, not to get down on myself because we all grow,
Yes.
but I think that something that I've taken from that work, a learning experience from that project going into the rest of my career, is that there are, I obviously won't get into specifics because whatever, but not not everything, we didn't necessarily leave season 2 unscathed in terms of our uh, friendships. Not everything was as good going in as it was coming out.
Okay.
As good, nothing is as good coming out as was going in. Say, and I do have some responsibility to take in there. I don't want to say all, but I definitely have some.
Yeah.
And those moments happened when I was too focused on project first as opposed to people first.
Yeah.
And everyone had a blast on that show. I could say unanimously, but it's not without tensions. It's a high stakes thing, and there is someone who's making calls on it. Film is a dictatorship disguised as a democracy.
Yeah.
But ultimately, creative choices come to the director and the writer secondarily. Production choices go towards the producer, and I think that even though it gets complicated when you're working with friends because those lines are easier to blur, and I don't think they should be. But at the same time, not everyone's always necessarily on the same page as you of like the difference between work and personal. And so I want to make sure that moving forward, and I have been, I can comfortably say, that we are always checking in, that everyone always feels valued on our sets and respected on our sets. Good. And even if we disagree with something, and even if we have to overrule something for whatever reason, it needs to be done in the way that we know that the person will be good and comfortable and feel like their concerns were listened to, even though they weren't necessarily fault. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We always now, I have to put people first.
Yeah.
And if you put people first, then the project will inherently come first, because people will want to always be working on things where they feel like they are valued and they have the utmost creative input. So there was some rockiness in LARPs that I never want to revisit. And so I am doing everything I can in my projects moving forward to make sure that that's the case.
Yeah, that's good. It's like Helena said, super positive lessons. I think that's the sign of a strong person at the end of the day, isn't it? You learn from your mistakes. You that's all you can do, and that's really positive. That's positive to hear. So if we move on to something a little bit happier for yourself.
Hey.
So
I know I got really heavy. Sorry, guys.
No. It's all good. It's something I whenever I talk to anybody is this is a safe space. This is a safe channel, and it's only positive. Everyone is positive. There is no negativity. There is nothing like that. So if anyone goes down, we'll pick people up again. So one of my favorite questions that I love when any comes on, and I love to talk about is, so if we say right, so season 3, New Line Cinema are backing you. You got a couple of $100 million here budget. What would be like? So if they turned around and said, right, you need to recast everybody though. I'm sorry, everybody, if they watch this, I'm sorry, you're being recast. Who would you recast in the main? I suppose in the main 6.
Oh my God. Hello, Lynn Olivia. You're coming in at a particularly tough question.
Yeah, I'm
What a
good at
great
these.
question. Okay, well, first off, obviously I would be playing. No, I'm just. Okay, if I had to, first off, I would give all of the actors from the previous thing a sizable bonus. Be like, here you go.
Yeah.
Go retire with this money.
It's like when they did Power Rangers, they gave all the people, the Power Rangers from like the old TV shows and stuff like that. They gave them all like little cameos and stuff like that.
Fun.
So they've said you can't have them actual. So no, John, Liz, Scott, Charlotte, anyone like that in it. They can get little cameos in it, so you get little nods to them, but you need to recast everybody in these roles.
Got it. Oh my God, I'm so bad with actors. I think Brittany would go to Florence Pugh.
Okay, yeah.
I think. Oh my God. But I'm also just stuck on like the recent stuff I've just been watching. You know, that's the other thing. That's hard. And is it set when they're still like in their 20s or like older now? You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah,
Oh
that's
my
it.
God,
I mean,
the reunion season.
it's
Do you have it as I'm talking? Do you have thoughts? You know, I'm gonna keep
I
thinking,
would love to see a reunion between everybody. I would love to see everybody coming back and like watching like fan choice episodes, so watch like 3 or 4 episodes from both seasons and just have like everyone reacting to it. That would be amazing. I would love to see that.
Do you think they would put their $200 million just to make that?
Probably not.
I'm worth it, man.
Yeah, but I think doing if they were looking to do something for the future, it would be probably like 10 years down the line, everyone's come back and it's like they've gone. They've remembered the game. They've found like their old character sheets. They found something like that, and then just like an email was sent. I could see it being, I could see it being probably Arthur finding a character sheet and like not letting go. He's now uber nerd, living in parents' basement. Something.
Oh man, I wish you could know what the season 3 story was. It's not what you'd think it would be.
Really?
And it's not the people that you'd think that would be. Because another theme that was, I'll say, another theme that was going to be in season 3 is the idea of, and I don't mean this to sound, because this is the discussion. It's not meant to be like a term or whatever, but growing up, the moving on, when you don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah.
But is that the right thing? You know what I mean? Like that was part of a conversation that was going to be happening throughout the show. Tom Cruise, oh my God,
doing all his own LARP stunts. Can you imagine?
Oh my God, this is terrible. Can someone from the chat help? Helen, you're watching it right now. You tell me, who's playing who?
See, you need some. So, Will, you need someone with that comedic timing to them. Someone like that. I think someone who would.
Evan Peters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see
that.
Yeah, Shane, it needs to be someone who is just like tough, no bullshit. That sort of person, very, very strong.
Well, maybe. So I don't know if you knew this, but all the fight scenes in this show are inspired by different fight scenes in film. And the fight scene in episode 10 between I don't want to ruin it for Helen, but between Shane and Lance is inspired by the Hound versus
Oh, what, the mountain?
God.
Or
No, the female knight there, big one.
oh, yes, I know the one you mean. Um, yeah, I can picture. Yeah, Brienne of Tarth.
Brienne of Tarth, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome to have that actor play Shane, but because that's the
Oh,
inspiration for that fight scene.
yeah. What is the actress's name of Brienne of Tarth? Because yeah, she was really poorly cast, I thought, in Star Wars.
I
Because
didn't see.
she is so good. She's a very talented actress, but a very talented actor. But she was, yeah, wrong role because she's
Gwendolyn Christie,
so.
yeah.
That's it, yeah. Gwendolyn Christie, yeah. Thank you.
She's so cool though.
But yeah,
God, she's cool.
Shane. Oh, she's also Lucifer in Sandman. Yes, of course.
So
she
then
is.
perfect for Shane.
Perfect, absolutely perfect for Shane.
Because Liz is Lucifer in my heart. I don't really know what that means, but
Yeah, yeah. So Evan Peters as well. So Arthur then.
yeah, who's Arthur gonna be?
Bit nerdy because all of John Silver's like Twitter and stuff like that. That guy has bulked. He is bulked up now. There's no fat left on that man.
No.
It's
and it's incredible, and I wish I could get to that, but also like I am not willing to make the life sacrifices that he's made to achieve that. Like in terms of like I like chips and candy, and I like drinking lots of beer.
Yeah, I like a good beer. I like nice 20 beers. That would be good for me.
Yeah, but man, he works so hard. He's got amazing self-restraint. He's got amazing drive. So, and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna get to that.
So who would you cast as Arthur then?
And that's the thing. Evan Peters, such a great actor. He could play both, but
he could. He could. So, but the thing is that you'd have to look at those because if Arthur and Evan, with them being brothers,
yeah,
as well. So obviously, if they're based on your brothers, then
okay, I got it for you.
You got to appease them as well, haven't you? Or not?
Arthur is played by Evan Peters. Will is played by Tom Holland.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. Tom Holland's quite a cheeky little fellow.
Yeah. You saw his lip sync battle?
Yes.
Performance?
Yeah, I did.
My God.
Yeah, you can't unsee that, can you really?
I never have I wanted to dress up in like shiny tight shorts and dance in front of girls so much. Because you could tell that whole audience was hungry.
Very hungry.
Yo.
Yeah. So
if I gotta dance in fishnets and shiny shorts and I get that reaction, I will do it.
So we've got two left to cast in, so Evan and Kat.
Oh yeah, Kat. Well, Kat's gonna be Amber Goldfarb because can anyone ever really play Kat other than Amber Goldfarb?
Probably not. Probably.
You know who was actually in the a close contention for that role?
Who was that?
Was Lily McLean, who played the redhead in the steampunk group.
Really?
She was a great actor. But we were worried that she looked too young. Okay. Even though she's about my age, maybe a little bit younger. She looked a little bit too young. But she was one of the three we were considering, and then Amber came around and we're like, that solved that problem, and then we offered that other role to Lily.
Yeah. I could see that. But yeah, so we'll leave Amber.
We'll leave Amber there.
As Kat. Then. So what about Evan though? Because someone in charge.
Now
bit nerdy.
this is
computer
the
gaming.
thing is that it's like, do we adhere to what Evan currently is and we're sticking with those characters, or are we taking it completely in a different direction? But
Wow. Hey, you're the one running the show.
oh my god.
It's like
I was
money
gonna say
is no
Finn
option.
Wolfhard. That would be good too.
Which is-
That would be really good.
Yeah. See, Paul Rudd would be a good Will.
Oh my god, yes he would. Yes he would. Paul Rudd is hilarious.
And I can just see him shooting everyone in the balls.
And the good thing about him is that like the show will go on for years and years and he'll look exactly the same.
He's like in his 80s now, isn't he? But he still looks about 24.
He looks handsome as ever.
Mm.
Oh my god.
So with
Who's gonna play?
with your brothers then, so who's the eldest and who's younger? Or are you the middle? Are you the eldest? Or
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
I'm the youngest, and my brother Aaron, who Evan was originally based off of, and you know, there's quite a few differences between them, but that's just the inspiration.
Yeah.
So we used to play. I don't know if any of you out there ever used to play Hero Quest.
Oh
This is an
god,
old
the board game. Yeah.
The board game.
I love that game.
And Aaron was the Zargon, the guy behind the thing, putting all the monsters down, and me and my brother would play that game together. My other brother. The funny thing is, we're all drastically different. It's like me and Aaron are probably the most similar, and Aaron lives across the street from me. And he's a computer technician. He runs the chief of technology at two schools, a high school and an elementary.
Yeah.
And my other brother is a chartered accountant. But one of the things that was inspiration that Arthur, like the connection there, was that he always wanted to be somewhere where he wasn't. He always wanted to be somewhere else, and he would get really restless and get really frustrated of where he was at the moment. And so that was kind of like the launching pad for like this guy who never wants to be where he is. He always wants to be in this fictional space chasing this other thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was that inspiration. I don't know who plays Evan. I don't know. Friggin' George Clooney.
That's just boring. That's an easy way out.
George Clooney can play anything. Oh God, Lynn, you're good at this. Who's gonna play Evan?
Yeah. See, that's probably the toughest one, isn't it? So, but I think regardless, I mean, the passion for the series is still there, and it's obviously out of left field, Keanu.
Keanu. I feel like we need someone with the dry humor who's in like The Office or Parks and Rec. It should be what's the guy in Parks and Rec with the mustache? What's his name?
Yes, he was in The Last of Us as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a brilliant actor.
Great actor. Yeah, relying on chat for this one. But yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah, he would be perfect. Very, very dry. Very, almost sassy.
Nick Offerman,
that would be it. Yeah, or Hugh Laurie, mixture of him of House and Blackadder. Hugh Laurie.
My God, yeah.
Could you
imagine? That's quite a varied age. Yes, you've got all these people, and then like Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence Pugh, Hugh Laurie. Yeah, it's Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson. Jeez, that's a. So I think the final question that I'm going to ask is probably quite an obvious one. It's probably quite an obvious one for you. If someone came back to you now and said, "Here's like 100 grand," would you make season 3?
if someone came up to me and gave me $100,000 and a budget to make the show,
or no, just $100,000, just to say that is to make season 3 with.
the budget for season 3 was for 500,000.
Okay, if someone came up to you with 500 grand, then says how much I know about
a lot
filmmaking.
more expensive than people think.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, season 2 budget was about 150,000.
Fucking hell. Or is it a thing now that you think should just be it's been there, it's been done. Let's leave it with all its happy memories.
I would have conversations with people. I would speak to the others. I think if everyone else was on board, I would do it. Because I think there's definitely a lot of joy in that project.
Yeah.
And I think with basically it's been almost a decade since season 2 came out. And I feel like I have evolved a lot since then. So I would love to see what I could do with it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I would. If everyone else was on board, I think I would. I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
not gonna lie, I would be happy if we suddenly heard, season 3's coming, or
that'd be good.
Even if you reached out to everybody and just said, it's been 10 years, let's get everyone back in a room together.
Get the band back together.
Yeah, let's just do a little, everyone sat down and all of that. And I mean, technically I know you know what you're doing because I've seen your YouTube channel. I remember your old tech stuff. So we are not really. I love doing fundraisers. To raise $500,000 though, I think that might be a bit beyond me. A small loan of $1 million.
Easy peasy. Come on.
Jeez.
Come on now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I had another idea for the show, which was to make a mockumentary about the making of the 3rd season of the show. In this, imagine this exact situation where Beatrice and I were like, we got to make another season of the show because nothing else is working. So let's go get the band back together. And Scott's an alcoholic, Liz is like a raging diva. Mark Camacho won't leave us alone. He's like, hey guys, I hear you're redoing season LARPs, and I was just like, Mark, can you leave me alone?
That would be so good.
And then we would make it, and it'd be a mess, and then blah blah blah.
Yeah. So Heather's just said or what we do in the shadows style mockumentary, that sort of thing. That would be brilliant.
I pitched it to John once. He didn't love the idea.
No. I think that would be so funny. I think that's you've got to be able to laugh at yourself, haven't you? Though with it all, and I mean, Scott, they strike me as the people who would be well up for doing something like that. They'd be able to laugh at themselves and stuff. I think that'd be great. And if you couldn't do that, then just a one-off reunion. Just everyone just sit down and chatting about it all, reminiscing, go through your bring back the good times and the bad, and bring it all up. I think that would be such a good thing to do as well, because there's a lot of happy memories of the show. There really are, and
that would be fun. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, thanks for subbing, Pete. That's awesome.
Oh. Killing it, GM Not Bear!
Yeah.
What a playa.
Yeah.
Drink plenty of water. You got to redeem your hydrate.
Yeah. I've gone through. I took a few cans of Diet Coke and I chucked them in the freezer. So this was completely solid ice at the beginning of the stream.
Solid. Solid.
So.
Yeah.
But
so.
yeah, I think. Yeah, you need to see if you can get a reunion chat going, get everyone because they did it for all during COVID, didn't they? Like Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, all those sorts of things, and it was literally just like a Discord call of everybody, and I think that would do well for you. I think you would do well with that.
I don't disagree. It'd be a hoot.
It really
we all reminisce all the time anyway. Might as well do it.
Yeah.
All together on a public forum.
Yeah, do it, and then chuck it on your YouTube channel so then people can rewatch it. And that, because there's something that everybody loves to do, and that is watching people talk about stuff they love.
Yeah, we're weird like that, eh?
Very weird. So, I think to finish with, I was say everyone Julian has his own. Also, I have to ask, is it Stamboulieh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nailed it, Stamboulieh.
Yeah, so there we go. Not just a pretty face.
Oh my god. But it is a pretty face.
Such a pretty face.
Mm-hmm.
It's so you have your own Twitch channel as well. You got your own YouTube channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
You play a massive variety of games.
Yes, but they tend to be generally horror games. So I play a lot of horror games on my Twitch channel, but my YouTube channel is for like indie filmmaking tips and tricks, and everything on mine is the Nerdy Filmmaker. I went ahead and branded everything as the Nerdy Filmmaker.
Yeah, well, you got to, don't you? So yeah. Chuck him a follow. Go and follow Julian on Twitch, because he is always happy. Always happy. I don't get to jump into your streams too often because obviously time difference and stuff. So, but when you stream earlier in the day, I am able to like chuck you on and have a listen.
Yeah, I mean, like
stuff.
for me, it's like streaming is a way for me to force myself to take a break. And life can be complicated, life can be busy, life can be whatever, but I don't want to be in a bad mood when I play video games. So
no,
that's what I bring is hopefully some stupid jokes and some scary screams.
Yeah, I wish I got scared doing things like that, but I don't. When I play games and stuff,
I don't feel anything anymore.
Well, yeah, I am dead.
What's the last feeling you had?
I don't know. I'm just dead inside. So, but yeah, if you get the chance, Nerdy Filmmaker, go and watch Julian on Twitch, because he's very, very good. I don't know if see if anyone's streaming at the moment. Digby, Colton Crawford. Oh, that's good. He's back. Right
now, I'm playing a game called Withering Rooms. It's like a side-scroller horrors roguelike game.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. I got sent a couple of games to play by a couple of companies. Tavern Keeper, which is a very cutesy, really not my style of game, but a very cutesy tavern building type game. And then there's a story-driven game called Werewolf. Well, do you know Werewolf the Apocalypse?
That's a game?
Yeah.
Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Werewolf the Apocalypse. It was a tabletop RPG.
Oh, yes. Then I've heard of it.
Yeah. Then they turned it into a story, point and click type game. Very, very narrative, and there are lots of endings and things like that. They've just done a sequel to that, so Werewolf the Apocalypse Purgatory. So yeah, and I've just been sent that to play as well.
Wow, I wish I got sent games to play.
I will send you a site, because they don't care, and like you don't need to have a big audience or anything like that. They are very, very good.
I gotta do it the old-fashioned way, and I go sell myself on the street to make enough money to buy a game. Working class people, not like you fancy streamers who just get sent stuff. Sorry, I overreacted.
massively, but it's what we expect from you. Um, it's yeah. I'll send you this. I'll send you the site because it's very easy to do, and all you do is just go, "Can I play this?" And 9 times out of 10, they'll go, "Yep, have that," and think so. So it's part of the World of Darkness, World of the Apocalypse, Vampire the Masquerade, Mage the Ascension. You do well selling yourself in the league. Shut up, Maury. So we're gonna go raid Colton Crawford. He's have you heard of the band The Dead South?
No, but they sound cool.
They are very, very cool. I've seen them live a few times. Really cool interview stream. Great to hear about Julian, LARPs and stories.
Thank you so much for having me, friends. I appreciate the time. It's been a lot of fun.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Yeah, if I get sent any horror games to play, I'll hit you up.
Love it.
So one of the things I do is I do like a charity streams for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, fun.
And I'm playing. One of them is I'm running the Aliens tabletop game.
Ooh.
Which is brutal, absolutely brutal. So if you've ever seen any of the Aliens films, they are great. So if you fancy jumping on that stream as well, I'll chuck you the deets, and if you fancy coming playing, I think it's like an hour and a half. You will die because everyone dies.
I plan on dying first and quickly.
So it does happen. Right, let's get everyone going off to go and raid Colton. He plays the banjo normally. He's just had surgery on his spine.
Ooh.
So he's been out for a bit, but he is a lovely guy. Very, very positive. So go and give him some love. Is it ready to raid? Oh, I can't tell. I'm not very good at this. Anyway, Julian, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me,
everyone.
It's been so much fun. It really has.
My pleasure.
Right.
All mine. You can have none of it. Bye.
Right, I have sent them over to raid. I feel bad saying it, but I I love that series so much.
Thanks, man.
And I'm fascinated by all of it. I really am, and I would love